guys, we've got a fun review today as we're discussing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Despite that lengthy title, I have been pretty pumped for this film. I mean, how could I not be? The Mission Impossible franchise at large has been fantastic, in particular these last few entries, as they continue to get more and more insane as Tom Cruise and company keep trying to elevate each and every new installment. In Dead Reckoning Part 1, we find Ethan Hunt and his team embarking on a mission to track down a terrifying new weapon threatening humanity if it falls into the hands of a mysterious enemy. With everything at stake, Ethan is forced to consider that nothing matters more than his mission, including the lives of those that he cares about most. Whether it's the Mission Impossible franchise or even Top Gun Maverick last year, I think it's safe to say at this point we should not doubt Tom Cruise as far as delivering on next level action spectacle, because once again with Dead Reckoning Part 1, I think he's knocked it out of the park. I mean, this might even be my favorite entry now in the franchise. Dead Reckoning Part 1 is just mind-blowing with how it executes every large, intense set piece. One of the things I like most about all these different action set pieces is the way that Christopher McQuarrie stages them, because you're maximizing every thrill to the highest degree and giving you that feeling that you're right there in the action, keeping everything in frame in these lengthy sequences. There's two big set pieces I want to shine a light on. Firstly being the big set piece that's set within Rome, just all around over-the-top amazing action spectacle. It does feel kind of deja vu because we just saw a big elaborate set piece set in Rome in Fast X, but Mission Impossible does it way better. Even the Pope's Exorcist is set in Rome, so it seems like Rome is having a pretty great year in film. The other one, however, might be potentially my favorite action sequence of the entire film, and that is the big elaborate train sequence. Basically, almost the entire time they're fighting on this train, I was on the edge of my seat. Tom Cruise somehow continues to push the limits with these stunts. Somehow he survives all of them. It's all really fun. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's just the quintessential adrenaline-fueled popcorn entertainment that we come to for a summer blockbuster. Outside of the action, though, I actually really enjoyed the story all around. Besides the fact it's a part 1, overall there's enough story here that I think you could enjoy it on its own, but of course, you do want to find out by the end what happens in part 2. Honestly, it's kind of eerie how topical the overall story set within Dead Reckoning Part 1 is to what's going on in the real world, due to the fact that the large part of Dead Reckoning Part 1's story deals with the fact that it's AI, and AI running rampant, and how the story reflects this cautionary tale of sorts on how dangerous this technology can be, not just by seeing the path it's going on right now, but what could happen if this technology fell into the wrong hands as they are searching for it throughout the storyline. What's also cool about how it's injected into the film is the different ways that it affects these characters and their arcs over the course of the film as well. As a longtime fan of the Mission Impossible franchise, I do think it is very fascinating how, much like in franchises like Marvel, DC, Star Wars, even Fast and the Furious, which I mentioned previously, almost every new entry, the cast gets bigger and bigger with bigger name stars as well. And that's no different in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and maybe because the cast is so large at this point, that's why they kind of tease the possibility that some of these people might not make it. But overall, I think the cast continues to be fantastic and one of the major highlights to watching this franchise at this point. Of course, as per usual, Tom Cruise continues to excel as Ethan Hunt in yet another adventure. As per usual, he's given it his all, whether it be in the dramatic category, seeing his character growth, but also just in the insane stunts. I mean, pretty much at this point, we're all going into these movies seeing what insane stunt Tom Cruise is going to pull in these Mission Impossible films, and he doesn't disappoint. That stunt that we've seen teased for so long now, where he drives that bike off the cliff, it's wild. It's even better when you see the full thing unfold in the film. Generally, I would say the entire cast did a pretty great job. I wouldn't really necessarily say any of them gave a bad performance, but there are some members of the cast, new members and old members, that deserve a bit more of the spotlight. Rebecca Ferguson in particular. Rebecca Ferguson has been one of my favorite additions to the Mission Impossible franchise ever since she joined the cast, and I think this might be her best outing yet in one of these films, because she is just so brilliant, possibly giving my favorite fight of hers in this, when she has this phenomenal sword fight that I think a lot of people are going to lose their minds over. One of the more jarring portrayals that I was really impressed by was Palm Clementif. We've pretty much seen her be this adorable, lovable character as Mantis in the Guardians of the Galaxy films. In this film, she is wickedly evil, and I was genuinely surprised just how evil she was, but I did eat it up. I thought she was fantastic. I think her arc was pretty great too. But by by far my favorite new addition to this cast was Haley Atwell. We've seen her a lot as Agent Carter in the MCU, but this might be my new favorite role for her. She's such a fantastic addition to this eclectic cast. She was great in the action sequences. She's surprisingly hilarious when she bounces off Tom Cruise in one sequence in particular. I loved her character a lot. We've seen in the past when you break up a film into multiple parts, it can kind of be kind of divisive amongst audiences. We just recently saw that with Across the Spider-Verse being a part one, but I think in Dead Reckoning Part 1, it does work pretty well. There's a lot of story here. You can see why it was broken up into multiple films due to some very dense material, but overall, I still left satisfied by the end with a lot of excitement to see what's to come in Part 2, because I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see where we go with the story, just where we leave things off in Part 1. It remains to be seen if we're going to actually get Part 2 next summer like it's originally planned. They're not filming it currently because they're doing press for Part 1. It's funny how that works out. Overall, though, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is a blast from beginning to end. It's the type of movie that deserves to be seen in the theater on the biggest screen possible, just due to how it's so fun with its over-the-top action. Like I said previously, it is perfect when it comes to the summer blockbuster. If you're going to go see something this month, I think this is the one movie you need to see, but also seeing it on the biggest screen or format possible, whether it's IMAX or Dolby or whatever you have around you. See it in the best premium theater around you, because I think you will not be disappointed if you do so. But now for my thoughts on Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. What did you think of the film once you get a chance to check it out? Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below, because part of the fun is having that conversation with the guys in the comment section. Thank you guys, as always, check out the reviews. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. But next time, I'll see you guys later.